Good evening, everyone. Adequate public notice of this meeting was provided by the Secretary of the Board on May 13, 2024 to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, and the Clerk of the City of New Brunswick. The time and location of this meeting and all meetings of this body are posted in City Hall, 78 Bayard Street in New Brunswick. Can I please have a roll call?
Mrs. Medina Hernandez. Mr. Ortiz. Mrs. Seawood. Mrs. Solis. Mr. Spencer. Ms. Varela. Mr. Adorno. Ms. Sevilla. We have a quorum.
Here. I move into item number 2, the flag salute.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reminder that the next regular monthly Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 17, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. here at New Brunswick High School in the auditorium. I'm going to move it to item number 3, selection of new school board member.
The opening was declared, and now it's time. I come to understand that the board did post for people to submit resumes, and I understand that 2 people did, and the various board members may have met with them to discuss the position. And now it comes time for the selection process. The regulations require that the selection process be done in open. So it's now open to the board. Any member want to have any comments? Any member want to suggest a person for the position? Now's the time.
Thank you, George. I think that I would like to first thank the both individuals who submitted. I don't think that anyone on this table takes for granted to putting their time in. At this time as well, I would like to make a recommendation and make a motion to name Ashley Caldwell. Can I please have a second?
Any other discussion? Any other people want to talk about anybody else, or is that it? If not, you don't have to, but I just want to ask it.
Okay, so I will do a roll call. Mrs. Medina Hernandez. Mr. Ortiz. Mrs. Seawood. Mrs. Solis. Mr. Spencer. Ms. Varela. Mr. Adorno. Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you very much. Moving to item number 4, and I'm going to hand it to Mrs. Virginia Hill for a presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will be reporting our Access for EL's results, which was administered in the spring 2024. The components that I will be reporting at the district level are performance levels, student participation, assessment results, which are comparative and aggregated and disaggregated subgroup data, as well as intervention strategies with a focus on specific standards. The Access for ELs stands for Assessing Comprehension and Communication in English State to State for English Language Learners. It is a state assessment that all students who are identified as multilingual learners are required to take. It uses 6 proficiency levels. Oh, thank you, boss. It uses 6 proficiency levels that delineate the English language acquisition students are able to demonstrate. These are the 6 levels. In order for a student to exit out of a program where they're receiving language services, they would have to score a 4.5 or above on this assessment. Our overall participation, we show here that 3,141 students out of 3,142 students participated in the access assessment. That equals to 99.97% participation. This table represents the total population of multilingual learners tested with the percentage of students who scored at each of the proficiency levels in grades K to 12. Students in kindergarten have the greatest percentage of students at level 1, 69.6%, with students in grades 11 to 12 following with 41% of students at level 1. Students in grades 2, 3, 6, and 7 had the greatest percentage of students at level 3, which is considered developing. Students in grades 4 and 5 had the greatest percent of students at level 4, which is expanding. Percentages at level 5 and 6 will always remain lower since students no longer participate in access once they score a 4.5 or above. This table represents the ability diverse subgroups of multilingual learners tested with the percentage of students who scored at least at each of the proficiency levels in grades K to 10. Due to the suppression rules, which is a minimum of 10 students, grades 11 to 12 are not reported. Students in kindergarten have the greatest percentage of students at level 1 with 80.4%, with students in grades 1 following with 47.4%. Students in grades 5, 9, and 10 had the greatest percentage of students at level 3, which is considered developing. This table represents the economically disadvantaged subgroup of multilingual learners tested with the percentage of students who scored at each of the proficiency levels in grades K to 12. Students in kindergarten have the greatest percentage of students at level 1 with a 70.9%. Students in grades 2, 3, 6, 7, and 9 had the greatest percentage of students at level 3, which is considered developing. This table represents the Hispanic subgroup of multilingual learners tested with the percentage of students who scored at each of the proficiency levels in grades K to 12. Given that the total number of Hispanic students tested is 3,114, the proficiency levels closely mirror that of the total students tested. Students in kindergarten have the greatest percentage of students at level 1 with 69.5%, with students in grades 11 to 12 following with 41% of students at that level. Students in grades 2, 3, 6, and 7 had the greatest percentage of students at level 3, which is developing, and students in grades 4 and 5 had the greatest percentage of students at level 4, considered expanding. Here you would see a list of strategies that we're implementing for this 24-25 school year. The first one is what we're doing with level 4 multilingual learners in grades 5 to 12. Those who have 7+ years in a language program are going to be provided targeted intervention support with a focus on expressive mode of communication prior to taking the October WIDO model assessment. The WIDO model assessment also assesses the same standards, the same EDL standards that are addressed in the Access State Test. The second strategy we're implementing is a focus on reading and writing skills, where we're going to provide interventions, targeted interventions during the WIN period to our multilingual learners in grades K to 12. The third is to provide level 1s and 2 multilingual learners in reading and writing interventions at the high school with a course called World Language English. The fourth strategy is to provide level 3 and 4 students in grades K to 12 with an after-school program which is focused on writing skills, the writing process, to enhance their academic writing abilities. And lastly, we're going to be implementing this year an ESL pull-out program in grades 3 to 5 daily, in addition to our students engaging in an 80-minute uninterrupted ELA block. In all of these programs, the curricular components have a focus. I have listed here all of the standards that we'll be focusing on in our curricular program, the way they have been designed by the WIDA standards. So you'll see here the writing component that we'll be focusing on for grades 2-3, which are grade banded. There's grades 2-3, 4-5, 6-8, and 9-12. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hale. Moving to item number 5, the July 16, 2024 meeting minutes. Can I please have a motion to accept?
Second.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz. Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer. Ms. Varela. Mr. Adorno.
Abstain.
Noted. Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Moving to item number 6, the Facilities Committee report. Mrs. Yesenia Hernandez, Chairperson.
We have no report at this time.
Thank you. Moving to item number 7, the Athletic Committee report. Mr. Benito Ortiz, Chairperson.
I have no report for this time. We will resume in September.
I guess we have a July athletic report now. Yes. Moving to item number 8, the Curriculum and Policy Committee report.
I'm sorry, Madam President. We just need a motion to approve the July athletic report. Mrs. Medina Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer. Ms. Varela. Mr. Adorno.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Now moving to item number 8, the Curriculum and Policy Committee. Mrs. Diana Solis, Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam President. The Curriculum Policy Committee did meet. We did not take a month off. Thank you very much. We had a presentation by Ms. Lagos Hill. It was the same presentation you just saw presented this evening. We covered resolutions. All the resolutions were reviewed and recommended for approval and are in the consent agenda. We covered policies and regulations. We abolished a policy and adopted several others. Again, everything is in the consent agenda. That concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you so much. Moving to item number 9, the Student Support Services Committee. Mr. Ivan Adorno, Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam President. Each year, our district mental health team comes together to make a pledge that unites us in our commitment to supporting the mental well-being of our students and staff. In 2022-2023 school year, the theme was Let's Talk About Mental Health. The 2023-2024 school year, the theme was Crush the Stigma. For the 2024-2025 school year, we are pleased to announce our theme is Building Resilience, Bounce Back Together, or Bounce Back Brighter. MVPS acknowledges that building resilience is essential for navigating life's challenges, both personally and within our community. Resilience involves adapting and bouncing back from adversity, maintaining a positive outlook, and learning from setbacks. By cultivating resilience in yourself, you develop mental strength, emotional stability, and the ability to cope effectively under pressure. Supporting resilience in those around you fosters a network of encouragement, mutual support, and shared growth. When faced with challenges, resilience helps you maintain perspective, make better decisions, and remain determined, ultimately leading to personal growth and stronger relationships. We look forward to bouncing back brighter together. Thank you. That concludes my report.
It's amazing. Can't wait to see the work. Yeah. Moving to item number 10, public comments.
Thank you, Madam President. For tonight's meeting, we have 2 individuals who have signed up for the year for public comment, starting with Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Good evening. Do we have the timer already?
Good evening, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick. I'm editor in New
Just
Brunswick
hold on one second.
today.
Sorry, just hold on one second. There you go. Thank you. Sorry.
It's okay. I have to ask about a serious matter, a press release from the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, August 16. It's titled "New Brunswick Man Charged with Endangering the Welfare of a Child." Discusses, I believe, a city employee who quote, had inappropriate sexual contact with a minor on several occasions while employed as a recreation assistant at a summer program in New Brunswick. I wanted to ask the board if this crime took place in a New Brunswick school, if so, which one, and which program this was.
Yeah, we don't have any comments about that.
Okay, maybe more generally, you could tell me what you're doing to make the schools safer for the coming school year.
I think it's important that we talk about that the schools are safe. I think that giving certain environments outside in the community, right, but inside the schools, we have individuals, and as we talk about resiliency and coping skills, I think it's important that we are not giving the idea that our kids are not safe. Okay?
Sure. I get that, you know, how we talk about things matters and what we choose to talk about matters, but I was hoping more for, you know, substantive things that the district is doing to actually make it safer in the schools. Do you have any of those? I know you spent a lot of money on security cameras at the last meeting, you know, surveillance cameras. Is there any other, you know, things you can identify that the district is doing?
Well, there's your answer, Mr. Cradaville. Yeah.
Surveillance cameras is one, yeah. I know also we had the situation with the young students left on the bus last year, and I know there was some type of investigation into that or some type of, you know, attempt to, you know, learn from that and change, you know, perhaps vendors or change policies or change something. Is there anything you can report on that issue or what the district is doing?
At any given point, I think we're always looking at policy that we minimize the human factor, right? But in terms of policy, I think that we have very good policies that look at just not having the kids safe, but also maintaining the kids safe, right? And also with the people that come into our buildings, that people that come into our buildings are not coming and saying that they're one person and then there's somebody else, right? And I think that's important. So we definitely always working hard maintaining that.
Yeah, is there something you're referencing with that?
Not at all.
No, okay. Yeah, I'll just close by saying, you know, you're abolishing your remote meeting procedures tonight. I'm not sure why. I think you can do a lot to improve the situation here, like eliminating the advanced sign-up requirement and
We thank
allowing
you for your
remote
message.
access.
Thank you for your comments, Mr.
Yeah, I
Cradaville.
hope
Your
you'll do
time's
that.
up, though.
We
But thank you.
deserve better.
Thank you for coming. Do we have anyone else, Mrs. Villalona?
Yes, Madam President. Next on the list, we have Ms. Linda Stork.
Good evening, Ms. Stork.
Again, I'm Mike. I had a couple of questions, but first I just want to comment that not all of the students do feel safe. I have not. And so it would be reassuring if, you know, we could hear about positive improvements that are being made. Particularly, I would like to know what is being done to address the situation in the high school where so many students are suspended every month. I read about the new program for my understanding is it's only for the junior high school students at the Hub Center. Is there anything being planned to intervene with the high school suspendees, out-of-school suspensions?
As discussed in the previous board meeting, we are working on stronger strategies within the schools. We believe that we definitely have to take a more personal approach to our students as well. We need to be a little bit more responsive in identifying potential issues within the school, a lot more peer mediation. And when I say it's like really strengthen those approaches that we already have in place to make sure that they're really valuable and not just, you know, because so many things, you know, school is a big place, but really paying attention to that and taking a look at how we're tracking students' data and responding, being more of a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach. So those are some of the conversations that we're having here in our middle grades as well as our high schools.
Okay, thank you. But no special program like there is targeting the middle school. And they won't be going to.
We're not targeting, if that's the word I thought I heard you use. We're just building stronger supports for our middle school students to give them a lot more mentoring, a lot more guidance.
I only meant targeting in that I understood that the special program.
I just didn't like the word targeting, that's all, I'm sorry.
Well, focusing in on the middle school students for the Hub program, for the Teen Center program. That's what I meant.
Yeah, okay. So in the high school, we don't have a specific program like that. However, we did devise the Wellness Center here, which many students really love the space and the place for them to come, unwind, and actually...
Thank you. I have 5 seconds only. Can I ask something real quick? What do we pay the parking authority for during the summer, $12,000, when there's so much parking? I know they do other things, but I'm just curious, because it just says other services, and they are a parking authority. So I was wondering.
Can you repeat the question, Ms. Stork?
Why in the budget $12,000 went out to the parking in the New Brunswick Parking Authority from end of June, I think, to July?
Yes, we pay for parking at the parking deck that is connected to the Technology High School for the staff members that are assigned to that location.
For $12,000 in the summer? Are they in session?
I can provide you the detailed information if you send me an email, Ms. Stork.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have anyone else?
There are no other signups for public comment this evening.
Thank you. Moving to item number 11, the President's report. We just, this evening, we came a little early and everyone made their way to, if you guys haven't heard, there's a new space that's going to be dedicated, or it's going to be for the new gym. We have a new sports addition that we got to open. We got to talk to a couple of the students, how excited they are that they're going to participate with that. I understand that's also going to bring a lot of scheduling, freeing a lot of scheduling opportunities, and just allowing the students to also find more spaces and perhaps more opportunities to kind of, when we not only talk about the physical aspect, but also being in a space where they can just be active, right? So I want to congratulate also. I understand that Mr. Spencer, Mr. Ortiz, and Mrs. Seawood were here at the beginning, at the initiation of when this building was built, and having that vision that eventually we were going to be planning for an extension. And I think that also speaks for the vision of collectively what we do here, that we're not only speaking about policies that are now, but really projecting on the future and how to be adding those building blocks to be better. So yeah, very exciting that we got to chat with the kids today. I actually heard a kid at the middle school said he was very excited that the high school was going to have 2 gyms, and kind of made me chuckle because he was already an incoming 8th grader and thinking about his high school year. So yeah, I also wanted to talk about, now that we're coming to the end of the summer, a lot of adults have what we call Sunday scaries, when we get ready for your Mondays and your week. I just want to take the time that I hope parents, as they're coming from the summer vacation, that we get our kids prepared to kind of start our academic year. So with that, we have a lot of individuals that have been working very hard to getting our schools ready for them. So we're excited what this new academic year will bring. So, and to all the individuals sitting here, so thank you for all your hard work. And that would conclude my comments. Moving to item number 12, can I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through AY? Sorry.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez? Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood? Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Which page? Resolution B, noted. Ms. Varela? Mr. Adorno? Ms. Sevilla? Motion approved.
Moving to item number 13, the Finance Committee report, Mrs. Patricia Varela, chairperson.
I do not have any report for tonight.
Thank you. Can we please have a motion to approve the August 20th, 2024 finance report?
Second.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Which page?
Page 9.
Page 9, noted, thank you. Ms. Varela? Mr. Adorno?
Yes, abstaining on pages 8, 9, 22, and 23.
Noted. Ms. Sevilla?
Yes, abstain on 45, please.
45?
Yes.
Noted, thank you. Motion approved.
Moving to item 14, resolution for closed session. Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10-4-6, provides that certain matters of a public value may be discussed in closed session. And whereas the Board of Education intends to discuss matters as follows: 1, personal matters, and 2, matters of attorney and client privilege. Now therefore be resolved that the aforesaid subjects shall be discussed in closed session by this Board of Education and administrative staff, and the minutes of said closed session discussion will be made available to the public when the reasons for the non-disclosure in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act no longer exist. Can I please have a motion for closed session?
Mrs. Medina Hernandez? Mr. Ortiz? Mrs. Seawood? Mrs. Solis? Mr. Spencer? Ms. Varela? Mr. Adorno?
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved. We are in closed session.